Alright, I feel like I've gotten better at this now. Hello, my name is Mark Danger. Welcome to the Dangerous Diamond Podcast. Today I want to talk about, you know what? I've covered, 3 specific teams, in the past 2 episodes, the Dallas Mavericks, the Sacramento Kings, and the Detroit Pistons. But I feel like I should go more in depth with those teams. So that's what I'm going to do this episode, starting with the Mavericks, The Dallas Mavericks, they have Luka Doncic, their rookie that they drafted last season, who really came into his own, Rookie of the Year. He's a really, really good shot creator. He's a really good passer. When I watched Thinking Basketball's player profile on Luka, he compared him to Larry Bird. So of course, I had to watch Larry Bird highlights, and then I watched Luka highlights, and I could see it. To me, Luka is, in my opinion, just a European James Harden. If Harden was a better passer, and he was not born in America. That's my view of Luka. He's 6'7", well, thanks to the height rule, and he's 6'6" now, so maybe with that in place, maybe he can play some point guard now, considering that he's 1 inch shorter. And that means being 6'6", hopefully that means he's going to be guarding other guards instead of wing players now. I said in episode 1, I think, I questioned if they're going to put Luka at one of the guard positions, specifically point guard. I feel like I would do that if I was Rick Carlisle. I would move Luka to the 1. Because he's a bigger guy, big boy. So, maybe that size can hopefully shut down smaller guards when they're cutting or when they're shooting. He's a really good team defender. He really reads the passing lanes well. Let's go depth on Kristaps. Kristaps Porzingis. They traded for him last season. And now hopefully he can be the Robin to Luka's Batman. He can put the ball on the floor, he can stretch the floor. He stepped up as a rim protector. Not that good of a rebounder, but being 7'3", hopefully he has room to improve on that. I wonder if he's ever to go out guns a-blazing this season, is he gonna run a break by himself? Maybe that way, if that happens, Luka Luka can work off of the ball, and with him being a really good shooter, that will be really deadly for the Mavericks. Also, you have my favorite player on the Dallas Mavericks, Tim Hardaway Jr. Really like the guy. I feel like on the Dallas Mavericks, he has the potential to be what J.R. Smith was for the Knicks in 2013. 6-man of the year caliber player. Really, that's big boy scoring punch coming off the bench. Especially considering with Luka being 6'6" now, maybe Luka is the starting 2. You have like Jalen Brunson at the 1. Now the problem is, who would they have as the small forward? Who would be on the wing? Maybe Justin Jackson. Maybe this is the move that finally gets Justin Jackson into the starting spot. If Rick Carlisle really trusts Justin Jackson, You gotta be willing to try stuff, in the NBA. I feel like that's just one of those things you gotta do. Then you have a guy like DeLon Wright. Really, really good playmaker. Really solid pickup from the Mavericks. He came from the Grizzlies. Uh, he has the ability to swipe the ball away from other ball handlers, like on transition. Hopefully he can also read the passing lanes well. That'll be really good for him as a playmaker and a defender. You also have Jalen Brunson, good shooter, another good playmaker. I feel like this team, like I said, has the potential to, really explode out the gate. Or they can, obviously all teams get to fall back. But in the case of the Mavericks, I feel like it's up to the unicorn player. It's really up to Kristaps, how they do in the beginning of the season. If he comes out guns a-blazing, then they're going to be really good and really dangerous. Like I should mention Seth Curry, Steph's older brother. Is he gonna play off ball too? Because the key to the Warriors' success was that Steph, the younger of the Curry brothers, he had the ability to play off ball. So maybe they'll try that with Seth. Like a guy like Dwight Powell or Maxi Kleber. Instead of screen for him, he comes up and pops a three. Speaking of Dwight, they have Dwight Powell, Boban Marjanovic, Maxi Kleber. Those three guys in particular, when it comes to Dwight, athletic, gets really good pick and roller, really good rim runner. Whenever there's a pick and roll to be had on the Mavericks, he's probably most likely going to be one of the guys initiating it, running to the rim, catching lobs, that type of, the stereotypical run, jump, and dunk center. You also have Maxi Kleber, which is the opposite. In the games that I've watched the Mavericks this season, he's really stepped up as a stretch big, good at pick and pops, and, stretches the floor really well. Being a Boban Marjanovic, Tobias Harris's best friend. Good rebounder. I want to see him step up as an offensive rebounder. Him being as tall as he is and having those long arms. Maybe like Luka or Kristaps or Maxi Kleber will miss a shot and he'll just come up and just smash it right back into the rim. Hopefully he can develop as a really good offensive rebounder in that regard. So yeah, that's my in-depth review of the Dallas Mavericks. So moving on to the Sacramento Kings. You know what? I feel like I've gone really in-depth with them and the Pistons. So let's talk about another team. I want to talk about Boston Celtics. Specifically their whole deal with Gordon Hayward, because it's interesting. He's going to be, in my opinion, he's going to be their best playmaker. In my opinion, I feel like Gordon Hayward is like an amazing passer. So because of that, I feel like he's going to be their best playmaker. Is Gordon Hayward going to arrive? And if so, is that going to take away from Tatum and Brown? Because, especially with Brown and the whole news, talking about, hey, I want a max contract, and the Celtics most likely not wanting to give him a max. Because if they do, they would be locked into Kemba, him, and Tatum. Also, you have a guy like Marcus Smart, who's already like Jalen Brown. Not really comparing the two, but both shooting guards, both really good on defense, both have shooting woes. If you catch my drift. But back to Gordon, he's a really good passer. Are they gonna trade him? And if they do, for what? They could just straight up not trade him and get rid of Jalen Brown. I wouldn't do that. I would have traded Gordon Hayward and kept the cap space to re-sign Jalen Brown. Now, when it comes to if in the situation that they would trade Gordon Hayward, I feel like uh Hayward a pick, maybe something else to make the contracts work for Steven Adams. They bring back the Stash Bros. I mean, he's not exactly Al Horford. That's what the purpose of this trade would be, to fill the hole that Al Horford left in Boston. You know, rebounding, defense, strong guy. And you also have a dude who looks like Aquaman on your team. Another team I want to talk about is the Bulls. I feel like they lost to the Pelicans in the preseason. Kind of disappointing. I feel like they should have won that game, but I feel like this season definitely should make a playoff run. They have the assets. They have, Wendell, Larry Markkinen, Levine, Kobe White, Chris Dunn, Sato, Thaddeus Young, Chandler Hutchinson, and Denzel Valentine, all those amazing guys. With the Bulls, is Kobe White gonna start? Because if he starts, you have a really good 3-point shooter, or are they gonna, keep up with Chris Dunn? Who's the better mid-range shooter? Kobe White obviously spreads the floor better than Chris Dunn. That sort of thing. And then you have Levine. All right. Listen, Adam Silver. It's only going to be so long until you keep on screwing this dude out of Most Improved Player of the Year, because he is literally balling out. I saw this highlight of him dunking on Jakar Sampson, and he had his little facial hair and number 8. Yep, that's prime Kobe for you. Yes, I compared Zach LaVine to Kobe Bryant. Fight me. With LaVine and Kobe, if you start them, maybe there's a little bit of problem on defense, but both can stretch the floor. Really good shooters, in my opinion. Hopefully Kobe White can step up as a playmaker. And if that happens, then he will definitely start over Chris Dunn. Nothing wrong with Chris Dunn, by the way. You drafted a young player with a top 10 pick. I feel like you should see what he can do. You have Otto Porter, who's been doing stuff off the dribble, had a high defensive rating last year, really good defender, really good shooter. I feel like he's gonna continue to do stuff off of the dribble, and if so, that'll be really dangerous. Also, I want to see if Jim Boylan has any off-ball stuff for the guy. Maybe get an off-ball screen, shoot the 3 off the off-ball. That'll be really sweet. Then you have the marksman, Larry Markkinen, the bad boy. Larry Markkinen stretches the floor, 7 foot tall, can get to the rim, really good from 3, really good inside. Can he step up? I feel like he can step up as a shot blocker. He's built up strength. He's built up, he's developed a little bit more since last season. I feel like Larry Markkinen can definitely step up as a shot blocker. Really splat the ball on the backboard this season. It helps that he has a guy like Wendell, who's essentially Al Horford. If Al Horford had a 99-inch vertical, yeah. So yeah, I just said it. I just said Wendell Carter Jr. is Al Horford with a 99-inch vertical. Fight me. Also want to look at a guy like Thomas Satoransky. He can play the 1, the 2, and the 3. Really good defender, really good shooter, really good playmaker too. That's the thing with the Bulls. They should have I feel like they should be like second or third in assists. behind like the Lakers and like the Rockets or the Kings. When it comes to passing, they have good playmakers. Then the signing of Thaddeus Young was really locks it down on defense. Really good sport. Good, won the sportsmanship award last year, so that's a good signing. Are they gonna play him at center or power forward? If they in a crazy world, if the Bulls really wanted defense, they could bring him and Wendell, Otto Porter, Chris Dunn at the 1, Kobe White at the 2. That would be a really good defensive lineup. And that's just me, because size. Also, what they're gonna do between these 4 players: Daniel Gafford, Luke Cornett, Denzel Valentine, and Chandler Hutchinson. If they're making a playoff run, I feel like they're gonna give the minutes to Denzel Valentine and Luke Cornett. Now, if they wanted to develop their prospects, they would go Daniel Gafford and Chandler Hutchinson. Those 4 guys. It's really what the Bulls want between those 4. When it comes to do they want athleticism or shooting between Valentine and Hutchinson, and when it comes to Gafford and Cornett, do they want shooting or defense? That type of ordeal. Another team that I wanted to talk about is the Bucks. And the one thing I want to talk about the Bucks is trade Eric Bledsoe. Simple as that. Just straight up trade Eric Bledsoe. Use the money to sign maybe another shooter. Maybe Giannis can develop the 3-pointer this season. That would be really dope. To be honest, I'm on the Rusty Buckets train of Giannis going to the Bulls. So yeah, that would be really great. I'd love to see Giannis on the Bulls. Another team I wanted to talk about is this is gonna be a straight up basketball episode today. There's no wrestling tonight. Another team I wanted to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies. The pick and pop between Morant and Triple J. Is Triple J gonna bulk up? And if so, Jesus Christ, he was already locked down on defense. Imagine when he had the muscle. It's gonna be borderline of like annoying. Imagine cutting to the basket. You just have to do a splat ball on backboard in your face. It's gonna be pure destruction with that team. They have more John Morant, who's essentially D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell could dunk. That team would be dangerous this season. Wouldn't be surprised if they won at 35 to 40 games this season. Back to the Celtics. Jalen Brown's haircut. Also, I wanted to talk about Jalen Brown. Rusty Buckets, he's gone out and said that, hey, this dude is essentially Jimmy Butler. When I watch Jalen Brown touch the floor and how he operates, I feel like Jalen Brown, really good at getting to the rim, amazing on defense. I can see why you would compare him to Jimmy Butler. To me, he's more like Scottie Pippen to me. I feel like he's a better defender and has room to grow as an elite defender rather than shot taker and shot creator. I see more Scottie Pippen than Jimmy Butler. Marcus Smart. I say he's fulfilled the D-Wade comparisons. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like he's essentially become D-Wade. If D-Wade was had highlights in his hair and played for the Celtics. And also was like lockdown on defense. He shot league average for 3 last year. So maybe he steps up as a shooter, and if he does, that's another floor spacer with Kemba, Tatum, I think Daniel Tice. Is it Daniel Tice was the big guy they had? I don't know. Also, Robert Williams, start him. Straight up. Start him, put him at the 5, put him at the 4. Depends if you get Steven Adams. But if you don't, put him at center. Just get him on the floor, because the time master is going to be splat in the backboard this season, hopefully, when it comes to blocking shots. Yeah. So, yep. This was Mark Danger, and as always, let's get ready to rumble!